channel, it's me, Lene. So today I'm going to be listening to Akane's documentary. And I wanted to give a huge shout out to the page that creates these documentaries. What an amazing job that they're doing. And as far as the documentaries and doing them in the order, that's what I'm trying to do. So I apologize for doing Konami first, that I should have done Psyche first. So if you look on my page, I've done Psyche's, Konami's, now I'm doing Akane, and then after that I'll do Misa and Miku's, because that's how it's said to do it in the order. So without furthermore, y'all know Akane is my favorite. Akane and Misa, oh, I know, probably not supposed to have favorites, but I love Akane. So without furthermore, let's see what this has in store.
Breaking new game.
What the hell is this?
Ooh, that was way too loud. Sorry about that. All right, who is the next one? Let's see here. Oh, but she was the one. Wait, she's also a DJ? Really? Okay then, let's talk about Akane. Akane was born on December 14th in Hyogo, a prefecture very close to Osaka. She lived with her mother, her stepfather, and for a short period of time, with her stepbrother, who is 11 years older. During her youngest years, Akane was very unsociable and the one to do whatever she wanted, like leaving kindergarten to go home or not participating in games and activities with the other kids. She was, as she likes to say while laughing, a real problem child. Note that in Japan, children go to school and come back home on their own very early, sometimes at 3 or 4. Over the years, she became more and more friendly and discovered that talking to other people wasn't that bad after all. During her school years, she loved home economics and art, but hated studying. She was also bad at physical activities.
Oh.
Who would have thought? Being a huge fan of...
It's okay though, because drumming in itself, you burn so much freaking calories. So she's getting her workout, at least through the drumming.
Also bad at physical activities. Who would have thought? Being a huge fan of manga, Akane was easily influenced by the Prince of Tennis or Slam Dunk to try different sports, but soon realized that her motivation was gone pretty quickly. She's the kind of person who wants to try everything that could interest her, but nothing lasted very long, except one thing. And this is something that we've seen in Psyche and Konami's childhood. Akane has loved music since she was very little. For her, it started with piano in kindergarten and lasted a few years before she stopped because the joy wasn't there anymore. Although, she can still play some songs on the piano, even today.
And I think in one of the other documentaries too, I think it was Psyche. No, I think it was Konami that started off playing piano as well. So it was a little bit of a gateway, I guess, to being a musician, you know. And the same thing with me. I was 10 years old. Well, I was 8 when I started guitar. I was 10 with piano, 14 with drums, 10 with saxophone. So yeah, it was very progressive. So yeah, it's interesting that they both started off with piano as well and then progressed into the instrument that became iconic for them.
She continued for 5 years with trombone, but it wasn't something she saw herself pursuing. At the end of her trombonist career, she realized that a lot of her friends joined bands, so she went to a lot of live performances and music festivals with them. That's how the idea of being in a band started to grow in Akane's head. So she joined the K-On! Club to form a band. To get an idea of what it was like, you can watch the anime K-On! Akane started with the guitar, but soon realized that her hands were too small to play.
Oh
and it was
no.
impossible for her to continue. The bass was off the table too, as you can imagine,
It's
and
very long,
she's no
yeah.
singer, at least according to her, so what's left? Yes,
Aw.
drums.
That's
And once
okay.
Akane tried a drum kit, she felt that that was it.
That's where she fits. So I'm not gonna fast forward through the songs because y'all tore me up in the last freaking video because I skipped through the songs because I don't want to hear them in case I want to listen to them later. So for y'all, I won't skip through the songs, but I'm gonna try not to pay attention to them. Is it saying what the title is down in the corner? No God. Look at
While
her
learning
go.
drums, she started to listen to rock bands like El Garden and Bump of Chicken to end up making covers of their songs. She also learned about the band Maximum the Hormone and their female drummer, Now.
I hadn't heard of
Akane was
any of
stunned
them.
to discover that the drummer of this hard rockin' band was not a man. This was the kind of drummer she wanted to become, so she kept this picture of a strong female drummer in her mind as a role model. It was and still is important to Akane.
Okay, so it is. It's showing the song down in the corner. Oh, that helps me. Okay. I wonder if it did that in the other ones and I just didn't pay attention.
To have an impact on anyone who thinks that a female drummer can only play soft and not hard. With this image in mind, she practiced every week at her school, the only place that had a drum kit available,
Aw.
as she didn't own one. The other problem was that she was alone in her club, so she could only practice by herself. By the end of her second year, she wanted to do a graduation live performance, so she gathered some of her friends from her old symphonic band days and performed a copy of the group Pez, a Japanese instrumental band consisting of a trumpet, a saxophone, a double bass, a keyboard vocalist, and of course, drums. You
wow.
might be surprised to learn that Akane wanted to work as a hairdresser after graduation.
What?
But as she started drums,
Well, I'm very glad that she got into drumming because that is her calling. That is where she is tearing it up. So I'm sure she can do hair amazing, but I really am glad that she went to drumming instead.
work as a hairdresser after graduation. But as she started drums and was 100% committed to improve her playing skills, she completely changed her mind and instead wanted to enroll in a music school. Against the will of her teacher, but with the support of her parents, Akane went to the Tokyo School of Music for 2 years to follow her passion. She was surrounded by talented musicians who wanted to become professional. Even though she was just a beginner in her class, she worked very hard and played every day to catch up with the other students. It was during those years that she joined a band who did a combined live show with another band featuring the one and only Kanami. She immediately acknowledged how
cool.
good Kanami was with the guitar and wanted to know more about her. It turned out that they lived very close from each other, so they quickly became friends. Kanami used to ask
good.
Akane to play drums on her demos before sending them to record companies. Unfortunately, Akane's band didn't stay together very long, and she was back to square one. But Akane was resourceful, so she started a part-time job as a waitress in a music restaurant in Yokohama.
Cool.
She could watch live performances and sometimes have a sit behind the kit to play when the restaurant closed for the day. She told the manager that she
I like that she's utilizing that. You know, she went and she found, well, probably just got a job anywhere, but that's amazing that she went and she got a job at a music venue as a waitress there. And then I think, you know, it said before that she had stayed after school to practice, and then now she's staying at work to practice. She's taking time out of her day to really, you know, maximize her art. So she's putting in the freaking work.
plays drums, so he asked if she could play right now. And she did. Akane played Highway Star from Deep Purple, and the manager agreed to let her play. He even offered to train her.
Oh,
From
cool.
that moment, Akane trained every day to improve her skills and become a better drummer. We are now in 2013, and Band-Maid is actively looking for 3 female musicians to join a rock band while wearing maid outfits. I say 3 because at this time, they weren't searching for a lead vocalist yet. Our little pigeon already recruited Konami, so the band was looking for a drummer and a bassist. As you can imagine, Konami talked to Akane about this opportunity. She trusted her with her demos, so why shouldn't she?
Yeah.
At first, Konami mentioned the label and Akane was excited, until Konami revealed that they are recruiting for an all-girls band. In case you wonder, she hadn't even mentioned the part where they would all have to be dressed in maid outfits. Akane had too many bad experiences from all-girl bands, so she wasn't really thrilled about this idea. But the restaurant she was working at was about to close for good, so she took some time to think about it and finally decided to join Konami.
Good.
What about the maid outfit, you would ask? Well, she was reluctant at first, but how do you know that it's bad without even trying? After all, if Konami is already there, it'll be okay, right? So she was willing to give it a try anyway. Konami sent her some demos, and Akane found the music really cool right away. And
I love that Konami gave her comfort in the band early on and reassured her that it was all going to be okay, and there was already that bond beforehand. Akane might not have stayed if it would have just been any other random person that was like, hey, we heard you can drum really good. Come join us. She might not have stayed, so it's a good thing that her and Konami already had that bond.
sent her some demos, and Akane found the music really cool right away. And the image of an all-girls band dressed like maids playing this kind of music was really interesting for her. She felt that her reluctance against all-girl bands and maid outfits was fading away as her motivation kept growing. Just a few months later, a 5-members acoustic band was created under the name Mochi to Cheese. What's the link with Akane, you could ask? Well, Akane and Konami were both part of this side band with 3 members from the band Predia, an idol group formed in 2010 under the same agency as Band-Maid, Platinum Passport. They started to perform in the streets with acoustic covers and even performed live a few times over the 2 years of activity. The band also covered Forward, a song from Band-Maid. A single was released in September 2015, but only 2 months later, they sent their last tweet and posted their last entry in their blog.
It's mentioned a lot of bands that I've never heard of, too. So if there's any of these bands that you want me to listen to, just throw it down in the comments.
After that, we did not hear from Mochi to Cheese again. Their YouTube channel is still available, so you can at least watch a fraction of their performances.
She's beating on down there, if that's like a special drum, or is it just a piece of board?
Let's get back to Band-Maid. With all those years of practice, Akane had a solid base of drumming to bring to the band, but she didn't have a lot of practice with the twin pedals on high-paced songs.
I never could get double bass down very well either. I mean, I could do it, but I definitely wasn't the best. It's not the easiest, man.
She didn't have a lot of practice with the twin pedals on high-paced songs. She did buy one when she was in high school, but she gave up pretty quickly, only to come back on it later and work as much as she could to try and master it. With Band-Maid, Akane had to use twin pedals for the first time with Thrill. A painful first experience for her, But the feedback was incredible, so the band members wanted to add more twin pedals in the next songs over the years.
Gotta push her.
This
Come on, you can
is
do
something that Akane wanted to do as well. But remember that from 2016, the songs are written by Konami. And Konami
Yeah.
loves fast-paced rhythm.
速いのは一番速い BPM。
I think it's 225.
おう
惜しい
ちには225ない
ない
ね。
200
じゃあ次225を目指します。
Usually, Konami songs are based at about 170 beats per minute. But Akane struggled to play the twin pedals over 130 beats per minute because of her lack of solid practice on twin pedaling. But she wouldn't be defeated that easily. Band-Maid is a hard rock band. They needed to be hard on their music, and Akane had to be able to play faster. So what do you think she did? She thought about how she moves her legs and found ways to improve her movements to be able to play faster. And what's the best way to do it? Practice, practice, practice. Muscle memory.
Yeah.
Akane tried to move her legs
Yeah, it's the muscle memory of it too, and it's working. It's working those muscles right there in the front of your shins. That's what would always get me whenever I was doing it. Those muscles would just get so tired so quickly. And I have some other videos on my page. Actually, I think I have a playlist of all of the songs that I've listened to from Band-Maid. And I think it was Black Hole that y'all said that Konami wrote the music for it, and that Akane chose there were like different levels, and then she said, I want the hell level, which is like super freaking hard. So apparently Konami made it, really difficult for Akane, but Akane was able to do it. So I guess because she had someone in her corner that was pushing her to do better and, just practice even more, it made Akane better. She had that person behind her backing her up.
every time and everywhere she could, as if she was playing the twin pedals, so her legs remembered those movements. She was also pushed by Konami, who kept including a lot of twin pedals in her songs. A challenge that Akane
I could just see Akane be like, damn it, stop it. Although I'm sure she took it and, immediately embraced it.
couldn't refuse to face, as she is not the type to admit that she can't keep up with a song.
Yeah.
After a lot of work and thinking about her playstyle, Akane is now able to use twin pedals anytime, in any song.
There it goes.
Did you know that Band-Maid performed with a man once? No? Do you want to know more about this story? Of course you do. It was in 2015, on December 4th to be exact, at the Shinjuku club Science, that Akane was replaced by a male drummer for a performance. Why, you might ask? Akane mentioned in an interview around that time that she just had an injury and she needed time to rest and heal. Don't worry, it wasn't a life or death situation, as Akane came to this performance disguised as a staff member to support her bandmates. She tweeted 2 months later with a photo of her holding a lot of drumsticks with messages written from fans from all over the world.
Oh, that's really cool.
Band-Maid has the best community of fans. Am I right? Now, I'm sure that many of you maniacs know that Akane likes to eat. A lot. She can
Hell
eat
yeah.
120 bowls of soba when on average, a man eats 70 bowls and a woman 50. Or even 30 plates at a kaiten sushi, a restaurant where plates of sushi are placed on a conveyor belt that winds through the restaurant and moves past every table, counter, and seat. And believe me when I tell you that 30 is a lot. She loves eating food so much that you can see her eating in a lot of the music videos over the years. I'll bet she really enjoyed filming those.
Right?
Akane was
I love her even more. Dang it. I didn't think I could, but I do.
He really enjoyed filming those. Akane was invited for a few episodes of Band-Maid Nippon, and they played a game where Miku and Saiki had to guess her favorite food outside of Japan.
ご飯
ご飯
何米ってこと？
ご飯
米？ピザ？どういう
こと
主食の？
主食っていうの
メインのもの。
メインの
こってりじゃないでしょきっと。
こってりじゃないね
パエリア。
パエリアです
ね、勘で言ったら
あ、そうなの
At the creation of Band-Maid,
Paella.
Akane was designated as the leader as she appeared to be the most responsible. But now, every member has a different role equally important, and having a leader was just not relevant anymore. Akane is also famously known for goofing around every chance she gets.
She's killing it. She's doing good. Oh, I wonder why she didn't want to get into singing. I want to hear that again. Was that her singing? Was that her, or was that someone else? And she was lip singing. Now I'm confused. I don't know.
Even during live performances. And she's not the only one, as the other band members try to make her laugh by pulling faces. Sometimes,
Oh yeah, I remembered y'all saying that in some of the comments that the girls. It was one of their live performances that I was watching, and they all went and gathered around Akane, and I said something like, "Oh, that's so cool." They all like kind of came together to support her during her solo, you know? And everyone in the comments was like, "No, they were trying to get her to fuck up." Like, I didn't know.
the other band members try to make her laugh by pulling faces. Sometimes, it gives us some very special moments to watch. And sometimes, it just works too well. Band-Maid is really putting on a show when it comes to live performances, because these 5 hard rockin' maids are really enjoying themselves, don't you think? All right, it's time to talk about Akane's drum style. But let's keep it simple, shall we? And as I didn't become a musician since our last video on Konami, I will let today's special guests talk to you about this very interesting subject. I don't know about you, but I can't wait to hear what they have to say about Akane. Let's go.
Band-Maid is a group of individuals that are just such heavy hitters on their instruments. When they come together, the overall sound of the ensemble is amazing. The rhythms, the harmonies, the quality of the vocals, the songwriting, the skill sets of how everything is woven together is a very amazing listening experience. I've only seen the videos, but from moment one, it had me hooked. Now, Akane's drumming is, when you see someone that is so fluid and relaxed and they're playing at such a high velocity and the demand is so great,
Yeah.
the level of respect is top. It is top for me. So she has a way of laying back in the groove and just flowing so well, but a lot of the times these tempos are burning, like they're going fast, but she has this thing where it's like effortless mastery. She lays back. There's all these augmentations and interactions within the orchestration of the song with everybody else. Like there's always these complicated things happening, but when you watch her play, the legato, like it's smooth. It's like you don't really notice how difficult everything is. And for me, that's the major selling point, because anytime something seems like smooth and easy, it's not. It's because the person is so good. They've put in so many thousands of hours on their instrument, and their ability to have all that ensemble listening go on allows them to be that effortless mastery that just...
There's been a few times in some of the songs that I've had to go back and like re-listen to her and the way that she plays, because she she does some different tempos every now and then, and it kind of it's a surprise to the ear of like, wait, what was that? You know.
Brought up. I will never get tired of watching Akane play. I mean, to be just completely honest, it's inspirational and it just makes me want to be a better musician.
Akane is a very impressive musician. For many reasons, one of them is her constant evolving. It's almost a rule among musicians to get to a certain level and then stop because that's good enough. But there's no such thing as good enough for Akane. She's constantly getting better, not only
I love his shirt.
in her skills as a player, but also as a writer. There's not a single dull moment in her writing. There's always something different and interesting and creative happening. Her creativity has no limits. She almost never repeats herself. That thing where the second verse is completely different from the first, but you can still tell it's the same thing. It represents the same thing. That's very impressive writing. Akane is a drummer's drummer, but she's also everybody's drummer. What I mean by that is, to someone who's not familiar with the drums, she sounds very impressive, she is, but it's not impenetrable, it's not tedious or self-serving. She's always serving the music. You can always groove to it. But when you do know what she's doing, your mind goes blank for a second.
Yeah.
Because she can write these incredibly intricate parts that are also beautiful. A recent example of that is in Influencer, the transition that goes from first chorus to the second verse, and that part afterwards with the cross sticks and everything. I think they call it the A melody. There's so much happening there. It's so fast. It's so different. And not different from the first verse, different from everything I ever heard from her. There's more music in those, 15 seconds than in 99.99% of all music ever recorded. And you can still dance to it. Then you see her playing live. Doesn't even look like she's doing anything that hard. She doesn't call attention to herself. She just smiles and plays the impossible. She hits very, very, very hard with so little effort. She's so fast. She's so precise. But she's also expressive. There's feeling in her playing. And that's what music is, or should be, is taking your instrument and amplifying your emotions to touch people's hearts. Akane does that. She hits very hard with incredible speed and precision, but she's also putting herself, her feelings into her music. She's joy, she's happiness, fun to be around. She jokes around, she says random things. And her playing is also like that. Her drumming, her music is joyous, is happy, is pleasurable and surprising, and connects the songs. And she's constantly getting better at it. And that's very impressive.
Where do I even begin with Akane? Oh, I've tried covering her drums so many times. Never really got them right because they're so complex. She's definitely the hardest drummer I've ever tried to cover. The skills required alone are insane, but it's not only the skill, it also requires an insane amount of memory skills because she's constantly changing up her drum patterns, keeping things fresh. It never gets stagnant, but it's so hard to remember all the different little changes she makes. And somehow she's still able to smile through all of it while she's playing. She plays with so much power, so much energy, and perfectly complements all the other instruments around her. You can tell from what she's playing that she listens to her fellow bandmates and does what she can to accentuate their parts instead of just playing underneath them or playing over them. She gives the song
I'll have to pay more attention to that whenever I listen to him again to see if she does do things to complement the other musicians whenever they're playing as well.
Exactly what it needs. Such a well-rounded drummer. Okay, I'll shut up now.
Once again, I've been telling you the story of someone who has been in love with music since forever and tried many instruments until she found the one that was perfect for her: drums. Even though she was alone in her club during high school, without a drum kit to practice on at home, Akane did her best to learn the basics by herself and was able to join a music school and pursue her goal of becoming a professional musician. From a child who wanted to try everything but couldn't find the motivation to keep at it, to a truly passionate musician,
She's so
Akane
inspiring.
kept doing her best to live for and from music. Working at a music restaurant to end up playing drums there.
Yeah.
Joining Band-Maid with Konami, and within this already incredible band, learning and evolving towards this image of a strong hard rock female drummer.
I like her little hat. That's so cute.
Learning and evolving towards this image of a strong hard rock female drummer she always wanted to be associated with. Akane wanted to prove that gender has nothing to do with her drumming and how hard Band-Maid's music is.
Yeah.
And we can all agree that she does this every time she hits her drums. No matter how difficult it was, no matter how many obstacles she faced, Akane destroyed everything in her way so she could achieve what makes her special as a person and a drummer.
You carry like a moment. I never change. That love is beautiful.
Look at how happy she is while she's playing. Oh man, that's amazing. I love her even more now. Yeah, and the fact that it went over, how she dedicated herself because she didn't have a drum set at home, that she stayed after school to practice, that she stayed at work to practice, and then, she could have just done what she could as far as the band. She could have been like, oh, that's a little hard. I might try, but I feel more comfortable doing this. And she pushed herself constantly, constantly pushing herself, improving on her skill, being humble enough to accept Konami's, guidance on that too, because so my brother-in-law is a drummer, and I know a lot about kind of the drummer mentality on some things, and they can be stubborn, and drummers tend to have a little bit of a reputation as being difficult sometimes. So it's a great thing that she was able to humble herself and be willing to learn and put in the time to get that double bass down, because that double bass, y'all, I'm a sucker for a good double bass. I think that's why I love Slipknot and Avenged Sevenfold so much, at least back whenever the Rev was still alive, and then Joey Jordison with Slipknot. Like, the Rev and Joey Jordison are two drummers that are iconic to me, and I can't speak good enough on them, man. They're just absolutely amazing musicians, and God rest their souls that they're no longer with us. And I what is that banging out there? I'm so sorry if y'all are hearing that, because I don't know what is going on out there. Anyways, so yeah, that's just an amazing documentary. And once again, shout out to the page. I'm going to leave the link down in the description to the original video. Oh man, and then after this, I'll do Misa and then Miku. I think Miku has 2 or 3 parts. So y'all look forward to those, and then go check out my playlist if you want to, where I have a bunch of other Band-Maid reactions to songs, to documentaries, stuff like that. Like and subscribe if you'd like to. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back and listening to me. And with that,